Wow, this is just crazy. I just spoke to my manager. I don't know why. He's in a really good mood, and this is the best deal I've ever seen. But you gotta work with me. You gotta sign today because I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And I did this calculation pretty much for the price of 3 coffees by daily. You can get into that luxurious vehicle. If you've been part of this conversation one time in your life and you find the process of buying the car stressful, this guide is for you, because we're gonna cover everything from true costs of owning the car to how to prepare and negotiate in the dealership if you do decide to buy that new car. Before we jump into what's the best way to buy the car, we can't really jump because we gotta figure out, do you actually need that car? And to figure that out, we need to look at what does it take to own a car, whether you finance it, lease it, or pay straight up cash. What are all of the costs that go into owning and maintaining the car? And there's a lot of them: title, registration, insurance, gas, maintenance, depreciation, and opportunity cost. So title and registration, you have to do it. My only advice here is to double check what are the rules in your state, because some states charge more based on the value of the car, or how old is the car, or even how much horsepower does it have. So to avoid the surprises, double check what way your state does it. Insurance, it's fairly complicated, all of the variables that go into insurance premium. So don't assume that if the car is a similar value, you will have exact same insurance premium. The best thing you can do for yourself when you evaluate the cars is to get the insurance quote from your insurance agent, and that way it's going to be as accurate as possible. Again, no surprises when you actually get the car. Unless you drive an electric car, obviously gas is consideration, and my advice here is those EPA numbers, not very accurate. I'm not sure if when they tested, they drive it in an area with like 0 wind, 1 miles per hour, but those numbers are way too low. So when you do your calculations, make sure those numbers are a little bit more realistic. Maintenance is another cost associated with a car, which I hope is obvious to you, that you gotta change oil in your car, replace tires, perhaps get winter tires. And what you gotta understand, that premium cars carry a premium maintenance cost. For example, let's say we wanted to spend $60,000 on an SUV. You can buy a Grand Cherokee Summit, brand new, which is like top of the line, or you can get a used Porsche Cayenne, maybe base with like optional package, like 21-inch, and say you needed to replace the tires with OEM kind of tires, same tires that go originally on a car. So with a Porsche, if you plug those numbers in Tire Rack, you'll see they range from $385 to $500 plus, and with a Grand Cherokee, you can get them for around $200. So on a set of 4, that's more than $1,000 difference. And if you take oil change, it's going to be exact same stories. Porsche oil change range from $350 to all the way about $500 just for one oil change, while Grand Cherokee is around $100, so you can probably get it done in a lot more places. You might tell to me, Roman, but what about DIY? What about doing some of that stuff by myself? And I would say before, perhaps that was the way to save money, but in 2019, the cars have so much electronics, so many sensors, that by trying to DIY the car, you're risking breaking some of that in a very expensive repair, so I would stay out of it. The biggest cost of them all is depreciation, and depreciation is how much your car loses value just by being with you. Like if you have a driver and your car is on it, it's losing money right now. The easiest way to think about it is the difference between for how much you bought the car versus for how much you sold the car. Here are some interesting stats on depreciation. You can see the least depreciated car is Jeep Wrangler, and funny enough, that's the car that I own. But more interesting here is Nissan Leaf, which is a tiny small electric car, is the highest depreciated car with around 70% depreciation in 5 years. So if I told you on the paper that you could buy 2 cars depending on the trim for the similar amount of money, one is a gasoline truck on frame and another one is small little electric car, what makes more economical sense? If you didn't take into account depreciation, perhaps you would go with a small electrical car, but when you take into account depreciation, perhaps the Jeep Wrangler makes way more sense. Think about it. Travel expenses, what I call parking, in case you have to rent a parking spot or you go a lot downtown and you have to pay. Those things add up. Tollways, cleaning. Of course you can clean the car yourself, but you will still be spending time on water and the cleaning supplies, and time is your most valuable asset, so you could have been using it to earn more money. Now when we look at all of those costs, title, registration, insurance, gas, maintenance, depreciation, travel expenses, it's not all, because we gotta look at opportunity cost, because we're trying to build wealth here. An opportunity cost is a cost of money you're not earning by spending them on a car versus putting it into your retirement account. So that future you is not gonna earn that money. So for example, even if we take like 10 years span, if you take $25,000 and instead of adding them to get that dream car of your choice that you want right now and put it into your retirement savings, then in the future you will probably get around like $50,000 in 10 years and like more than $100,000 in 30 years. Versus putting it in the car, depreciation is just gonna go down. So yes, you can't live all the time in the future, you have to get some pleasures today as well, but you have to be conscious about it and you have to for sure take that into account when you weigh the decision whether you should purchase a new car and what's your budget for it. If you followed the video all the way till here, thank you so much. You also maybe paid attention that I did not mention interest cost, and it's because not everybody has that cost associated with car ownership. And that brings us to chapter 2, the next video, where we're going to discuss cash versus finance, finances versus lease, and perhaps just keeping your regular car. So stay tuned and subscribe.